again, closing distance. Page turning away. Big right hand. That's it. Kevin McDonald steps in.
Today we're diving into the career of one of the most entertaining and flashy fighters in the game, Michael Venom Page. Have you ever seen a fighter who can close distance in the blink of an eye? Well, that's just one of the incredible skills that Michael Venom Page possesses. He's been doing martial arts since he was just 5 years old, and his body has developed to be a perfect machine for throwing kicks and punches with lightning-fast speed. But it's not just his physical abilities that make him stand out. Michael Venom Page is also incredibly flexible and has an amazing ability to knock out his opponents with some of the most savage and spectacular moves you'll ever see. Even if you don't know his name, you've probably seen his knockout highlights. Today, we're going to take a closer look at Michael Venom Page's career and explore why he's considered one of the flashiest fighters in the sport. His style is associated with a lot of risk and showboating, which means he's always pushing himself to the limit and testing his skills to the max. So buckle up and get ready to be entertained as we take you on a journey into the world of spectacular finishes and lightning-fast moves. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. And if you have something to say, bash your keyboard with lightning-fast combinations of comments. We'd love to hear from you. Meet Michael Page, a man who didn't settle for being good at just one thing. With years of training in kickboxing, karate, and everything in between, Michael's amateur career was filled with accolades. But he knew that wasn't enough. He wanted to top his bread with some caviar, and that's when he decided to shift his focus to MMA. In his debut fight, Michael faced off against fellow newcomer Ben Dishman, and while the fans were still munching on their popcorn, Michael had already ended the fight with a signature showboating move that left Ben knocked out cold.
In Michael Page's corner, the London shoot fighter screaming at him, telling him to take it seriously, and there's a spinning kick. That is unbelievable.
It was the world's first taste of our dancing killer, and everyone knew that Michael Page was a different breed. But that was just the beginning. Michael went on to dominate in the regional promotions, racking up viral knockout after viral knockout. And after catching the attention of Bellator's John Coker, Michael was assigned to the big leagues. But that wasn't the end of his journey. In fact, Michael signed on with an Indian organization, showing off his signature footwork and confusing his opponent with some old Bollywood moves. The fight ended with a devastating 1-2 combo, but unfortunately, it was stopped due to a cut. From his impressive amateur career to his dominance in regional promotions, Michael Page has proven time and time again that he's not just another fighter. He's a force to be reckoned with, and his flashy style and signature showboating moves have made him a fan favorite around the world. Bellator debut. Picture this. It's 2013, and the 93rd tournament is underway. The crowd is roaring as Michael Page makes his debut against Ryan Sanders. The fight clock, brought to you by Miller Lane, starts ticking. Suddenly, bam! A right hand connects with Sanders' head, and in just 10 seconds, Page secures a knockout victory.
By Miller Lite, the official beer of Bellator. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Oh, good right hand. He's in big trouble. That is it!
It was a moment that caught the attention of Bellator's Scott Coker, who knew he had to sign this guy from London.
You know, at the end of the day, Michael wants to be the champ, and he'll tell you that too, and he wants to go to the top.
So, Page jumped on a plane and headed to India to finish up his contract with Super Fight League. His opponent, Ramdar Mohammed, tried to take him down, but Page's defense was too good. He showed off his striking skills, taking Mohammed down and finishing the fight with a choke.
Oh, that's it that hurt him. He is bloodied up.
That is the end. That is the end.
As he pulled out his mouthpiece and raised his hand in victory, the world knew they had just witnessed the rise of a new star. It's Michael Page, aka MVP, and he's here to take the fighting world by storm. Michael Page versus Ricky Rainey. The arena was buzzing with excitement as Michael Venom Page stepped into the ring for his next fight. Originally slated to face Marcus Aurelio, Page's opponent changed last minute due to an injury. In stepped Ricky Rainey, a fighter who had won 5 of his last 6 fights. The experts predicted that Page's skills were about to be put to the test. As the fight began, Rainey wasted no time in attempting to take Page down, but the Londoner was having none of it. Showboating for the crowd, Page kept his distance while Rainey charged forward, looking to take his opponent's head off. But Page was a master at keeping his preferred distance, and getting bored with this exchange, even pulled off a no-look evasion. Rainey attempted to push Page against the cage and cut off his angles, but Page's footwork and evasive skills kept him safe. A quick switch of his stance and a right hand to the temple sent Rainey dropping to the canvas.
Distance, Page turning away.
That's it. It's over.
And while Page didn't even bother to go for the follow-up, he did take a moment to show off his signature robot-style dance for the crowd. It was another highlight reel victory for Page, and only his second fight in the Bellator arena. It was clear to fans that he was destined for greatness, and Bellator executives knew they had a superstar on their hands. Coker wasted no time in sending the footage to the PR department for posting on Instagram, and the world began to take notice. Michael Venom Page versus Nashawn Barrel. Michael Venom Page was up against a tough opponent, Nashawn Barrel, an American fighter with an impressive record of 11-4 in various organizations such as Strikeforce, UFC, ACB, and Eagle FC. Bellator bosses were careful not to rush Page into fighting top-tier opponents, but gradually built him up for the big fights. Although the fight went the full distance, Page managed to win via unanimous decision, with 3 judges scoring it at 30-27. While it may not have been his most exciting win, the most important thing for Bellator was to keep his unbeaten record intact. After all, Michael was possibly the organization's most valuable player. Michael Venom Page versus Rudy Bears. Let me tell you about the time when Michael Venom Page faced off against Rudy Bears in the octagon. Originally scheduled to fight Curtis Melinda, Michael had to pull out due to a cut above his left eye. But that didn't stop him from returning to the ring in July of 2015 to face off against Rudy Bears. Now, Rudy may have had more experience, but with a record of 16-13, he wasn't exactly a top fighter. Michael, being the showman that he is, raised his hand confidently before the fight even began, signaling to the crowd that he had this in the bag. And he wasn't wrong. In just 65 seconds, Michael took down Rudy with a knee and a free coupon for a 1-2 on Rudy's chin. It was all over, just like that. Michael finished his opponent and posed for the cameras, improving his Bellator record to an impressive 5-0. Everyone was left wondering who Michael would fight next. Would he finally face off against a top fighter? Only time would tell. But one thing was sure: Michael Venom Page was a force to be reckoned with in the octagon. Michael Venom Page versus Charlie Ontiveros. Michael Venom Page's fight against Charlie Ontiveros. Bellator gave Venom a relatively inexperienced opponent with a record of 6-3, and to be honest, Ontiveros wasn't exactly a household name. But that didn't stop Venom from putting on a show for the fans. As soon as the fight started, Venom took control and dominated Ontiveros with vicious elbows from side control. It was like he was throwing bombs from his sailboat. The distance was that great. And of course, Venom being Venom, he couldn't resist a little showboating. He pointed both of his hands at Ontiveros in surprise, as if to say, "Did you really think you could handle me?" And the crowd went wild. Sure, Ontiveros wasn't the toughest opponent Venom had ever faced, but it was clear that he was no match for the highlight master. And let's be real, every promotion needs a few bags for the record padding purposes, right? So, even though Ontiveros had lost all 3 of his UFC fights, he was still a valuable addition to Bellator's roster. All in all, it was another impressive win for Venom, who was now 5-0 in Bellator. But the fans were already wondering who he would face next. Would he finally be given a top fighter to test his skills? Only time would tell. From his unforgettable walkouts to his jaw-dropping knockouts and risk-taking fighting style,
Opinion about that. Oh, big knee from Michael Venom.
Michael Venom Page has truly become one of the most outrageous and exciting fighters in the sport. We can only hope that he never changes his style and continues to deliver the same level of spectacles that we have come to expect from him. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to show your support by leaving your thoughts and comments below.